my company probably gets really annoyed with me because every year I have a thing. Last year, it was low-key crypto / blockchain. And I used to run these like town halls where I would teach the junior staff, like, this is how blockchain works. Now, luckily, I told them all, do not spend any money that you are not willing to lose. Okay. So I don't think that I got in trouble there. But one of the really fun things that I love about my job is that as a CEO, I get to like really decide what kind of technologies or things that we're going to embrace and what kind of things we're going to perhaps resist. And I've always had this mindset of you should embrace it. Like, let's learn the why. Why is this trending? What's the conversation? How does this impact media? How does this impact your workflows? And is there any way that we can leverage this technology so that we can work faster, smarter, literally work with less pain, less emotional distress, and more ease? So today we're going to talk about AI. Hey everyone, I'm Morgan Debaun, a passionate entrepreneur and life advisor. With the Journey podcast, you'll discover that success isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. I'm sharing stories of amazing people who've taken control of their lives. Join me on my own journey to discover the secret sauce behind reaching success with permission from no one else. Welcome to another episode of the Journey podcast. It is I, Morgan Debaun, your host. I am here with a solo episode just to talk a little bit about AI because it is my favorite thing on the planet. I have a few stats to read out from the Pew Research study. About 6 in 10 Americans believe AI will have a major impact on workers generally, but only 28% believe it will have a major effect on them personally, which I'm not surprised by because Americans are always like, yeah, it's going to affect everybody but me. Like global warming, everybody but me. Black maternal health, everybody but me. Abortion, everybody but me. So not surprised that we have large egos. 3 in 10 say the use of AI in these places will eventually even out and that the help of AI and the hurt of AI will ultimately balance itself out. When it comes to the economy, 56% think over the next 20 years, the impact will be major, while 22% believe it will be minor. 3% said it's going to have no impact. Don't want to be led by those guys because that's not a thing. 60% of Americans would be uncomfortable with a health provider relying on AI in their own healthcare. Meaning, if your doctor could use AI to diagnose you, if a surgeon could use AI to help them go through different use cases more efficiently, they'd be like, nah, please just use your brain. I think for me, what this says is people are talking about AI, but oftentimes with new technologies, we're scared. And I kind of think of AI as like the Industrial Revolution in some way where, if you were working at a factory for Ford and you're like, no, not the robots, I want to keep my job, you probably still wound up without a job. If you were the person who was like, oh, the robots, how interesting. Let me learn how to embrace the robots and get reskilled to manage the robots and fix the robots, you probably wound up not getting laid off. I think that it's important for anyone listening to this podcast. I can care less about everybody else. I'm just kidding. I care about everybody in the world. But for those of you all who have chosen to be a part of the Morgan Debaun Brain Trust, I think that, our competitive advantage is going to be embracing these technologies in our everyday work when we know that the majority of Americans, although they may have heard of AI, are probably not leveraging it from a day-to-day perspective. Now, the youth is definitely, you can see that because the data for ChatGPT, which is one of the major AI tools, declined over the summer, mostly because I think college kids are not using it over the summer. So we'll see what happens in, I guess, the next 30 days as people return to school, if the usage goes up. But here's how I use it in my day-to-day life in a few different ways. I use ChatGPT the most. ChatGPT is a product created by a company called OpenAI, which was founded by this guy named Sam Altman. Now, Sam Altman, who I think is from St. Louis, if I'm not incorrect, pretty sure. Anyways, he is the founder of this incubator and accelerator called Y Combinator. If you are part of the Silicon Valley tribe, the techie tribe, you know Y Combinator is the number one creator of big companies from startup world because they invest, they go through hundreds of startups a year, and they help you learn how to scale. So they have the best startup pool for investing. And also it's like this really cool tribe. They call it YC for short. So Sam is really, really smart guy. That's basically what I'm saying. And he knows how to pick winners. And Sam stepped down as the CEO of Y Combinator a while ago, probably because he's already made a bajillion dollars, but also because I think he wanted to start working on AI. So he starts OpenAI and they come out with ChatGPT less than 12 months ago. And previously, AI was something that we've used artificial intelligence for a long time. When you write an email in Gmail and they're like auto finishing your sentences, or if you're in a Google Doc and they're auto finishing your sentence, that is artificial intelligence. If you're like, I don't use AI, it's so overwhelming, and you write an email and you accept when they're auto finishing it for you, you are using AI. So please stop putting yourself into a box. You already use it every single day. Okay. So AI is literally just computers making really good guesses based off of a huge data sets on what you're about to say, what you're about to do, or answering questions that you have. OpenAI has one of their products is called ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has two different versions, ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4. Now, ChatGPT 4 you have to pay for, which I highly recommend because it's accurate and it's faster. And ChatGPT 3.5 is free and available, so you don't even have to pay for it. But basically, I use ChatGPT to do things like if I'm writing an email and I'm tired and I'm like, these are the 5 things I'm trying to say, and I want to be professional, but I also want to come off friendly, but I want to be warm, but also direct. I will literally write my bullet points into ChatGPT and say, and use the tone of friendly, professional, direct, but warm, and then give me 3 options. And it'll pop out 3 different options of that email. And then I'll take that email, revise it a little bit to make it really sound like me, and then send it. Old me, pre-chat GPT me, might not have ever sent that email, low key, because it's too much effort. It was too much brain power. Or I would have sent the email, but I wouldn't have come off warm and friendly. I would have just been really direct. And then the other person would be like, damn, Morgan, you couldn't have said hello? And I'd be like, no, I don't have time to say hello. So ChatGPT has been helpful for writing emails where I'm trying to say 3 to 4 things. More recently, we just did performance reviews, media reviews at Blavity. So I wrote my performance review, not in ChatGPT. I wrote it in a Google Doc and said, these are the things that I want to say. This is, where they did really well. These are the examples. These are the things I'm committed to helping them with through the rest of the year. And I wrote that, and then I wrote it in ChatGPT and said, please revise this, make it really clear and actionable. Because I have a tendency to over explain sometimes. And it was fantastic. Okay. It was absolutely fantastic. It was still me. It was still my ideas. It was still my feedback. They didn't make up a bunch of stuff. They only used the content that I put into this prompt to actually be able to come out with something that made sense for me. And I'll give you another example of how I use ChatGPT. Now, this is for anyone who's an ideas person who's I've got this idea and I want to see if it's a good idea, if the market size is good, if you've got a business plan or something that you're thinking about, just pop it in ChatGPT and be like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm thinking about, I want to start a business recycling baby clothes. This is something that's been on my mind because I'm buying all this shit and the baby's going to be out of it in 3 to 4 months. So what do you do with it? This is absurd. There's probably so much waste in the baby industry. Somebody let me know what the waste level is in the baby industry because I know it's crazy. So I'm well, there should be some sort of baby recycling, baby rental, rent the runway for baby, something. And then I could just put that in ChatGPT and be like, ChatGPT, what is the average market size for baby clothes within the first 2 to 3 years? I'm thinking about starting a business on this. What are the things I should think about? And it would come out with some outputs. And then I could be like, okay, based on these outputs, ChatGPT, what are the biggest risks to starting this business? And what are other similar business models that could be used for this kind of upcycling rental model? And like ChatGPT would have a perspective. So you can basically talk to yourself and also get outside information. And because they can search vast amounts of data sets and examples and any prior chats that the world's been chatting in to ChatGPT, you're going to get some interesting information. So you literally can't lose using this tool. Okay, enough on ChatGPT. Next tool. Sometimes when I'm writing, I write a sentence and I'm like, this sentence is like not that great. And I don't want to go into ChatGPT because for whatever reason, I don't want to open up another tab on my Chrome. So there's this plugin on Chrome called WordTune. And I use WordTune all the time. I kind of think of it as my copy editor. So if we're writing like marketing copy or I'm writing like a script that I'm going to say or something for a video or some sort of speech or something, I'll write it out and then I will use the WordTune plugin, which I have on my Slack, on my email, on my Google Docs, so that I can reframe what I'm saying. Now, if you're like, girl, I don't even have a day job, like how else can I use AI? I got you. Just hold on for a second. But I'm focused on my 9-to-5ers real quick. Okay. So WordTune is really helpful. It's you, but better. Use it. Why would you not use it? Like when people don't use this, I'm like, but why? Even to the point where when my direct reports send me like written proposals or like we were just working on a plan to do like an external document to teach some publishers some things, I'm like, do not send me anything that has not been ran through WordTune or ChatGPT. Like I don't even want to see it. Don't send it to me. Anyways, number 3, Canva. Canva has been releasing some incredible AI tools recently. And fun fact, you can integrate Canva with ChatGPT. Now you've got to Google it. It's a little, couple of clicks, but basically you can take prompts. If you could like put prompts in ChatGPT, pop out Canva graphics, bro. Sorry to all the graphic designers who just lost 20% of their income. But to be honest, this is incredible for all of the content creators, people who have product businesses. You can go on Creative Market and download an incredible template so that it looks visually dope and then pop in all the sayings you can think of from ChatGPT. And all of a sudden you've got an entire curated profile. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, next up for my 9-to-5ers, Motion. Motion is a tool that helps you manage your schedule and the task better. So it integrates into your calendar. And basically, it looks at your calendar and says, okay, based off of the meetings or the times that you have blocked off, and then based off of your to-do list, this is when I'd recommend that you do these tasks. Because how many of us have a to-do list that just keeps going because we haven't properly blocked out time to actually do the work, right? So if you need to write that performance review, or you need to work on that product marketing plan or work on your financials, and that's going to take you 2 hours, Motion will pre-block out, this is probably the best 2 hours that you've got on your calendar, and then also hold that time for you so that you actually get it done into new reminders. Our executive team, Orchid and Simone, who run 2 of our businesses, they've been using it more recently. And they said that some of the designs and the smartness of the tool has gotten much better. And so they recently recommended it. I haven't totally tried it for my entire life, so take this with a grain of salt. But if you don't have an assistant and you're like, I think I might need a virtual assistant, or I think I might need an assistant, I would consider this tool first before you invest in an assistant. Video.ai, which we're going to put in the show notes so you know how to spell it. But that is a tool that you can use to take your YouTube clips or full clips that will then cut it down into social graphics, reels, things that you can then post on TikTok and Instagram. So we use this tool for the Work Smart podcast and the MDB Journey podcast that you're listening to right now. If you've never checked out my YouTube, go right now and subscribe, please. Thank you. But other than that, it is really efficient. So if you're like spending all this money on video editors, this might be a way for you to be a little bit more self-sufficient and quickly get some video clips up or supplement the video clips that you're already producing for yourself from your YouTube onto social. So check out this tool. I've been using Grammarly for a really long time. So I didn't even think of Grammarly as an AI tool until Grammarly started to be like, we're an AI tool. I'm like, oh, okay. I see you, Grammarly. So I use Grammarly for just grammar checkers. And that's integrated into my Gmail as well, into my Google Docs. So really, I look like I'm a fantastic writer, but I'm not. I'm not a fantastic writer. I'm a fantastic AI user. but really, what's the difference? Midjourney is one I haven't used for work yet, but I have a lot of fun on Midjourney. So Midjourney is a tool that you can type in prompts and then it pops out images, pictures. So, I don't think that this technology is that good yet. Like, you can still see that it's clearly made by AI, but it is fun to play with, and I'm sure the technology will get better over time. And then Zapier. Zapier is an automation tool, and Zapier is releasing a lot more AI tools. So Zapier is like one of those tools where you can say, take my Google Sheet, create an integration with my ChatGPT and Canva, and go from step 1, step 2 to step 3. So all I have to do is input it, and then it pops out a graphic. Zapier is a tool that helps you create those workflows and automate those workflows. And then you kind of just set it and forget it, and it's just always on. So Zapier, and then also a tool called If This Then That is another tool that you can use for setting up automation workflows. If you are interested in learning more about AI, these are the podcasts that I listen to. I listen to this daily podcast called The Daily AI Breakdown. Straightforward, but it's effective. It's really short. I listen to it like on the treadmill or like when I'm going for a very short pregnancy walk. And then the other one that I listen to, which is a little bit longer, is called Last Week in AI. And these are like super PhD nerds. So it gets a little technical at times, but I love it because these are the people who are building the things. And these are the people who have dedicated their entire lives to AI. It's like when the super nerds like all of a sudden become rap stars. They are leading the way. They are the trend. They are making bajillions of dollars. And it's really fascinating to hear their perspectives on what's working, what's not working. They also cover like things happening in the government. The government is racing against the clock to try to regulate this stuff. So you hear what's happening in Congress or in other countries and how some governments like China are embracing AI, and other countries in Europe are like, no AI. It's really fascinating. And yeah, just a cool way to nerd out a little bit. So check out those 2 podcasts. I hope this was helpful. Do not be like the factory workers at Ford, okay? Embrace it, leverage it, use it, play with it, write short stories, write songs, play with beat makers, like just have fun with it. There's no downside to understanding how you can use this in your daily life. No one is coming to judge you. There's no shame in using it for work. And as long as you're responsible and you disclose what's your thoughts versus an aggregate of ChatGPT's thoughts, I think that, you're in safe territory. And I hope that this was helpful for you. And just let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram, right in the comments of this video. But I'm curious how you guys are using ChatGPT and AI in your life. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Journey podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review and head to our Instagram and YouTube to leave a comment. I look forward to hearing how this podcast has made an impact on your own journey.